The Cincinnati Bengals are currently reminding the Arizona Cardinals what it used to look like. Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Cardinals, Alex Clancy here. Follow me on Twitter at Clancy's Corner. Follow the podcast at Locked On AZ Cards. Thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen, free wherever you get your podcast, and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Camp is here. Cabs are here. Camp is here. You want a Jersey Shore reference? Midday on July 22nd, as the Cardinals absolutely look towards the future, take the field tomorrow, and run away from what used to be, you'd hope. It's kind of a grab bag show today. I was going to I'm doing this a little bit later. I wanted to see if anything dropped. I wanted to see if Will Johnson got signed. I wanted to see kind of what the Shamar Stewart situation was going on in Cincy. Both are, blossoming. So I'm able to do this now. And then camp officially starts tomorrow. I'll kind of give a little broad overview, final overview before, things actually kick off tomorrow. Talking about the Will Johnson signing, the second segment. This first segment, though, may be the most real life example, impactful as to where the Cardinals shift has brought them. And I'm excited to talk about it. Today's episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Also, tonight, Locked On Cardinals Squad Show. Ben, Jamil, and myself, full hour, live, 6 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Arizona time. Check it out. We'll be able to interact, do those things. I may be doing some more live shows throughout the season. I know people have asked me about that. So I'm kind of tweaking, trying to figure out, not like tweaking. This is a family show, but I'm tweaking my ideas on, exactly what I think the season should look like. It's set to be a fantastic one, and I want to maximize what I can do for you. Shamar Stewart still not signed by the Cincinnati Bengals. I tweeted out that the Cardinals taking Walter Nolan at 16, Shamar Stewart dropping to 17 for the Bengals shows the meteoric shift this organization has made. And then I got a bunch of comments about, this has nothing to do with this player. It has to do with the Bengals. I know that. I understand what's happening. And for me, when I see another organization have issues like that and trying to manipulate contract verbiage for a rookie who is so far away from joining camp, it's like, what, is he going to reclassify next year, which is an option? He can 100% reclassify for the 2026 class. It's like, that's what the Arizona Cardinals used to do all the time. And this isn't revisionist history. This isn't confirmation bias. This used to happen a lot, and not with rookies who were drafted, just contracts in general. So when we see what's happening over in Cincinnati, it's like, isn't it nice to not have to deal with that anymore? Isn't it nice to have all 7 rookies signed? Josh Sweat, Calais Campbell, Dalvin Tomlinson, Trey McBride's contract extension, Budda Baker's, and James Conner. It's like, when things are done rationally by somebody who is well equipped to hold the position of GM, with an owner who's kind of unlocking a new version of himself, we think. I mean, at least as a business, as an owner. I'm not taking away all of the terrible things that he's alleged of doing. I'm separating the two because it's a football podcast. Not to say that is not serious. It's more serious than anything. But with this specifically, everything that Michael Bidwell has said he was going to do since handing the reins over to Jonathan Gannon and Monty Osborne, he's done. He has. It's just a plain fact. I'm not saying that erases history. His dad, him, anybody else it's, but all you can do is take the information that's provided since the end of the 2022 season, look at it under a microscope, be like, this is run differently. And then you look over in Cincinnati, which is another organization that has never been able to get out of its own way. And it's never, it's like, unbelievable. Unbelievable. You have 2 wide receivers who are making $1 billion combined. And you can't pay. That's interesting. But when it comes to Shamar Stewart specifically, it's like, the organization is fumbling this. They're bungling the situation. And for Cardinals fans to be like, well, it's because it's the Bengals. It's like, look in the mirror, dude, ma'am, bro, homie, sister, whatever. Like, this is what this organization was. And like, this is still like a trial run. Okay. We have no idea what's going to happen with Michael Bidwell. We have no idea what's going to happen this year. We have no idea. But since the end of the 2022 season, it is just a certified fact that things are being run differently. And it's obvious because there's a new regime. Things are done rationally. Things are done methodically. They're not giving away a whole bunch of money and then asking for a restructure almost immediately after, like the last GM did with Tyrann Mathieu years ago, and then which resulted in him walking. You're not passing up on re-signing Calais Campbell to money he absolutely deserved, and then he went to have an all-pro career. It's like a second all-pro career after leaving the Cardinals. You're looking for a specific avatar type of human being and football player to bring in and formulate a family. And it's done. Every contract that's signed has some sort of direct correlative with the next one or the one after, because it's got to be one pie. So if you give somebody too much money, well, then maybe you can't give the money necessary to a dude who's going to be equally as important. That's why letting Milton Williams walk when New England gave him $700 million, like, okay, well, that's too much. Let's pivot to the other 8 options that are ahead of us, as Monty Osborne would say. I would think, I'm not speaking for him. He didn't say that. But it looks like that it's like, well, you know what? You're in on him way too much. See you later. Then you could sign Dalvin Tomlinson, Calais Campbell, and Josh Sweat for the money that you would have just given to Milton Williams. Not exactly, but in the ballpark. So when you look at what's happening in Cincinnati, it is a pat-on-the-back situation for the Arizona Cardinals. This truly has nothing to do with the actual rookie, Shamar Stewart. I'm sure that it's, there's two sides. But the Cincinnati Bengals are notorious for doing exactly what the Arizona Cardinals were notorious for doing for decades. And decades and decades and decades and decades. So when you look at it from across the country now, and then you look at what's going on with Arizona, it's like, that's what I meant. The direct correlative between dysfunction and dysfunction. One organization is pivoting away, even though the Bengals have won a bunch more games than the Cardinals of late. I'm not saying that, like, on the field, the roster is better, but it's like how things are done can yield directly to what the future roadmap of an organization looks like. And if I'm a free agent and I look at what's going on in Arizona and I look at what's going on in Cincinnati, I'm signing with Arizona. Joe Burrow is probably, like, I could argue that Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in football, truly. And that's not all that matters for a free agent. You look at the dysfunction that's going on in Cincinnati, I'm choosing Arizona. And that is a very, very different thought process than has ever been constructed by me and probably many others since the inception of this organization. Things are different. Just look in Cincinnati and look at what's going on in Arizona. Locked on Cardinals, your team every day. Will Johnson signs his contract. Relax. This was always going to happen. But it's the final nail in the coffin's not right because that seems negative. It's the final, icing on the cake for what was a fantastic offseason for the Cardinals as camp looms tomorrow officially. I'll discuss the impact and what it means just in the broad scope of things next. This episode of Locked on Cardinals is brought to you by our friends over at Rougiette. Guys, you probably heard of Viagra, Cialis, and maybe even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rougiette Ready. Rougiette Ready is a next-generation prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. Unlike the usual pills that can take hours, Rougiette's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast, on average in 15 minutes, and it can last up to 36 hours, dude, so you can stay confident and in control when the moment is right. I love that it's completely online, Rougiet connects you with a board-certified doctor and ships your treatment discreetly to your door. Head to rougiet.com/LockedOnNFL and use code LockedOnNFL to get 15% off today. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnNFL and use promo code LockedOnNFL for 15% off. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Please visit the Rougiet website for full safety information. So listen, what happens in Cincinnati has no direct effect on the Cardinals. But with Walter Nolan going 16, Shamar Stewart going 17, and all of this happening, it's like, it seems serendipitous. You never wish ill will upon anybody. It just seems like serendipity where it's like, oh, well, this is just a quick reminder as to what it used to be versus what it is. And Jake Lisco, one of my buddies who's hosted, him and James Rapine have hosted Locked On Bengals forever. Jake's told me, oh, they 100% were taking Walter Nolan at 17 if the Cardinals didn't snipe him. So just a nice little, why the hell not? Will Johnson signs his second round rookie contract. Okay. So this is fascinating. It took a little bit longer. He was one of the last ones to sign. This is not something that he was holding out. I think for me, and I don't know this to be fact, but I'm speculating. Like, you look at both sides, it's both kind of a precarious situation. So he dropped due to this alleged, supposed nagging knee injury. Okay, that was reported. He was at like 70% during the combine time and around draft time, and he drops a full round, like maybe a more than 32 picks lower than what people thought he was going to go at. So if you're looking at the Cardinals side, it's like, well, you want to make him, happy with this contract, as well as kind of temper just in case something were to spring up. He had the tight hammy during rookie mini camp where he was off to the side. But I also, there were also some videos out of camp where he's going to be really good. I said it first. Okay, so you can use it, but I need to be mentioned on Twitter if you're going to use it. He's a Saquon Barkley at the cornerback position. He's a home run waiting to happen. He's a home run pick six threat waiting to happen. And we see one this year? Be nice. Now, on Will Johnson's side, this is the more interesting side of it to me. Okay, so dude was top 12, top 13 if this thing didn't happen. The fact that he still dropped to the 40s blows my mind. Truly blows my mind. But if I'm him, it's like, well, I was hoping to get first round money. Okay. Obviously that didn't happen. So with all of the guaranteed contracts for Tyler Shuck, even though he's a quarterback, I completely understand that. This is like a new wave of contracts where second round players want their contracts fully guaranteed too. And for me, if they gave him a fully guaranteed contract in the second round, I'd be like, well, you're still saving a whole bunch of cheese. Because I was like, well, he's there at 16, you take him. And I understand the Walter, like I get that I was way off. I thought it should be offensive line. And then if Will Johnson's there, you run to the podium, like many I trust in this space said too. But also people expected Walter Nolan to potentially go top 10. So that kind of shifted during, around draft time. So with Monty Osborne being competent as a GM, and with Will Johnson understanding that there was a reason why he dropped, even if it wasn't as deeply rooted in truth, it may have been more circumstantial. It may have been more rumor-based. Not that it was untrue, but maybe it was too potent of something when really it was a little bit more dissipated than that. Finding the common ground between the two, I find this to be a lot more complicated than just, a dude, first-round talent, hindered by injury, fell to the second round. I feel like it was a little bit more complicated than that. And if you want this dude to be your CB1 for the future, if you have to give up a little bit more guaranteed money on it, you do it. Like, these are the wiggle rooms that Monty Ossenfort allows himself to be able to play in, to be able to exist, because they're not overpaying. Like, people are getting money that they're worth, not more, not less. Monty Ossenfort is hitting the sweet spot, and for some reason, which is brand new to me, at least, after 15 years in the space, 10 years, 9 seasons hosting this damn show, 10 years, like, everybody just takes maybe less than what they would get elsewhere. Like Trey McBride, the fact that he's a tight end, woo, huge. Because that could have been $30 million extra guaranteed if he was a wide receiver. James Conner taking front-loaded, team-friendly deals. Budda Baker probably could have got more on the open market. Not that he would have got there. Josh Sweat probably could have got more money with a worse situation. Dalvin Tomlinson probably could have got more money with a worse situation. Calais probably got what he would have got elsewhere, but he chose the Cardinals. Like now, with all of that, with all of those contracts, I just named like seven. James Conner, Budda Baker, Trey McBride, Dalvin Tomlinson, Josh Sweat, Calais Campbell. With all of those contracts done in such a competent, rational, and cap-friendly way, you can play a little bit more when you need to overextend a bit in a situation like this. And I'm not saying this is exactly what happened. I'm not inside Monty Osborne's head. But the reason why it took a while, I feel like they were trying to figure out exactly what the sweet spot for both sides is, maybe leaning a little bit more towards Will Johnson's side. Now, I see in the comments on Twitter about how, well, the Cardinals need to protect themselves because of the injury. I completely understand that. As mentioned, I completely understand that. But I think it's more of a, hey, the Cardinals know how lucky they got drafting Will Johnson in the 40s. The least they can do, kind of thing. Because remember, say Will Johnson turns out to be like, and this is knock on wood, you never, I got to give my disclaimer, I haven't done this in a month. Never wish injuries upon your worst enemy, let alone, some, team you cover, your favorite team, whatever it is. If Will Johnson happens to be a bust, okay, just say hypothetically speaking Looney Tunes here. If he happens to be a bust, it was a mid-second round pick. It wasn't top 5. It wasn't top 10. It wasn't top 15. It wasn't a first rounder. So this money is Rondale Moore money. Like it's not a Paris Johnson Jr. money for the rookie contract. So you can extend a little bit, which is made possible by Monty Ossenfort's wizardry this entire offseason beforehand. So the final icing on the cake, the Cardinals lock up their second round pick. It was supposed to be top 13. And you look at the rest of the offseason, it's like, I don't know what a masterclass looks like, but with future pacing possibility and expectations, Monty Osborne's in line for GM of the year if the Cardinals win 10-plus games this year. This is what the setup looks like. And the final cherry on top. Agent Zero. Officially an Arizona Cardinal. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Camp officially starts tomorrow. Like, dude, this is going to be so fun. Like, come on. You think that we're not, like, yearning for something like this? All the content, all the crap that fans like you, media members like that we've had to deal with. Like, it's finally here where Arizona Cardinals 2.0, Arizona Cardinals in name only. Tomorrow, on the field, between the lines, the locomotive is starting, and it's like right on top of Viper, or what? Did I always go to Viper? Six Flags, like when you're on that roller coaster and it's right at the top, right about to go down, that's where the Cardinals are right now. It's ready to rip. What are some like general things to maybe think about as Between the Lines starts tomorrow? We'll rip through that next. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by BetterHelp. This is an ad by BetterHelp. Workplace stress is at an all-time high, and 61% of the global workforce is reporting higher than normal stress levels. This summer is the perfect time to take small steps to focus on your wellness and manage the challenges that comes with your workday. Of course, most of us can't just quit our jobs or take endless vacations, but we can start small, whether it's getting outside for a few minutes, adding movement into your day, or talking to someone who can help you navigate life's challenges. And that's where BetterHelp comes in. Like for me, I work a couple jobs. Okay. I work from home, which is great. And the bandwidth, the more hours it needs to be worked, it just comes with the territory. And yeah, I've got extra stressors. It's hard to turn it off sometimes. And that's why, the flexibility of online therapy makes it easy to fit sessions into a busy schedule, no matter where you are. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Unwind from work with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/lockedon. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/locked on. Today's episode of Locked On Cardinals is also brought to you by FanDuel. Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel's the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're already following the action, man, so why not make it a little bit more thrilling with FanDuel? You can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. You want to get into the future action? MVP, Coach of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year. You want to parlay a couple Arizona Cardinals? I'm telling you, it's going to be a couple or it's going to be none. FanDuel's got you covered with it. New to FanDuel, we got you covered there. New customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. Please go to the YouTube channel, search Locked On Arizona Cardinals. We're under 10 subscribers away from 4K. We're getting there. Thank you, everybody who's been around. It really means a lot. This is the most important thing to me in my life, work-wise. And this is part of my DNA now. It has been for a long time. So everybody who shares it with me, truly, thank you. Even those who never agree with me, yet watch every day. You are special breeds. And it's a beautiful thing. I wouldn't want it any other way. I absolutely wouldn't want it any other way. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. This is the most excited I've been for a training camp ever in 15 years. Truly. 2021 was a surprise. Come on. Let's be honest. Nobody saw that. Let's be honest. Nobody saw that. Let's be honest. 3 times is enough. I'm getting a lot of chirping about the BA years. The BA years that wasn't a team. That was a collection of veteran talent and David Johnson. Let's be honest. Very top heavy, won a bunch of games, super fun. Let's throw it down the field and hope to get a pass interference call if it's not a completed pass to John Brown or JJ Nelson. The only thing that really made that work was Larry Fitzgerald moving in the slot, BA being a genius, moving him in the slot and having him have a second or third act in his career where he was as great as he was when he was playing on the outside as a younger cat. That was magic. Okay. The defense was good. Okay. Calais, etc. Good. Patrick Peterson was still in his prime. Good. Chris Johnson was a vision. David Johnson was good for about 19 games. But it wasn't and Carson Palmer was great too. It's not a knock on those years, but there was definitely an expiration date. And then I still go back to 2016. This is all I cared about looking back. This is the only thing that mattered to me. Week 1, at home, late Monday night game of the doubleheader. New England comes into town with Jimmy Garoppolo, and Tom Brady was suspended for 4 games for Deflategate. Chandler Catanzaro misses a kick. The Cardinals lose. BA was quoted as saying something to the effect of, "We never recovered from that." After week 1, and they end up having a terrible season. It's that's Arizona Cardinals in a nutshell. Didn't matter. You won 10 games in a row, 3 years in a row. Doesn't matter. That's what it was. The playoff game against Green Bay, amazing. One of the best moments in professional sports. And, of course, the Arizona Cardinals have to give up 2 4th and 25 pluses, plus the Hail Mary at the end. It's of course the Cardinals do that. And then Fitz, did what he does. But when you look at what's going on right now, even with the question marks surrounding Kyler Murray, even with the question marks surrounding the offensive line and the wide receiver room, as the weak spots of this defense or of this roster, collectively, I'm sure that there's a way to angle it as such where it's you shouldn't be as confident as you are, you, the collective, but it'd be difficult, right? I see this as the strongest and most stable this organization has been going into a training camp for not just this year, but for a handful of years to come, regardless of who the quarterback is. Like, that's something that people need to understand. I'm not going to tell you how to think, but like, say Kyler Murray plays pretty well this year, they win 10 games and they get blown out in the playoffs and they move on from him, even though his cap hit is $57 million next year, dead cap hit, $57 million next year, and then it drops precipitously. I think Kyler Murray is more than equipped to be the quarterback for this team. Okay. I understand people refuse to look around the rest of the NFL and be like, oh, let's go get somebody else. Name a list. Give a list to me, bucko. Who's going to be better? It's not even a devil you know situation, which is what the Cardinals lived in a lot, where it's like, well, do you move off or, what can you find? Whatever it is, like, but irrespective of that, regardless of who the quarterback is, this team is destined for stable relevancy for the next 5 years. Just look at the roster construction. Look how inexpensive these contracts are for the first and second and third year guys. Like, this is how you build a roster. Could it blow up unceremoniously in everybody's face? Sure, of course. There's no givens in this football crazy world that we live in. But all you can do is look at what's in front of you, look at what used to be, and see, is this different than what it once was? The answer is resoundingly yes. So that's something that needs to be just taken into consideration. That's not an irrational stance. It's what's happening. Enjoy it in real time. We have no idea what the hell is going to happen tomorrow with this team. We have no idea what's going to happen in week 1. What if the Cardinals lose in New Orleans in week 1? Like, who knows what the hell is going to happen? All you can control is what Monty Osford has controlled with this borderline immaculate offseason. Set the team up for Jonathan Gannon to coach it, Nick Rallis and Drew Petzing to coach it into a successful run like this organization has never seen because of the sustainability involved. I can't wait for the Cardinals to have the conversation. Well, how are they going to pay everybody? Those are conversations I can't wait to have. They're a year or two away, baby. And I can't wait for it. It all starts tomorrow. And I'll be here with you every day. That's my promise to you. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Remember, without you, there is none. I'll talk to you tomorrow.